thank you to you for being here this morning. Welcome. It's a somber morning already, I can tell. So let's turn around and say hello to somebody you haven't yet met and welcome them to the center. Won't you join me in reading the affirmation for this month, which is projected up here? I advocate for freedom of thought. We're talking about freedom, choice, creativity, and our topic today is moving beyond our stories. And the book we've been using, as you heard, is The Sun Does Shine by Anthony Ray Hinton and Laura Love Harden. He was put on death row for a crime he did not commit, and when he got out, he wrote this book with Laura. And here's a quote from it. Despair was a choice. Hatred was a choice. Anger was a choice. I still had choices, and that knowledge rocked me. I could choose to give up or hang on. Hope was a choice. Faith was a choice. And more than anything else, life was a choice. Compassion was a choice. Choice is a very important part of our Science of Mind teaching here at the center. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, when he spoke in Beverly Hills a long time ago, he said this. He said, "Your own choice has decided you." Well, I have found that very challenging to understand clearly. How are my life circumstances always a result of my choices? Especially those choices that apparently I had no input in. For example, I was born in South Africa in 1961. And unless we consider life before life choices, I'm not aware of choosing that location and that date. I'm not aware of choosing the color of my skin. I'm not aware of choosing my sexuality or my gender. So the way I had to work with this teaching of choice is to start here and now, where I am, and then look, what choices do I have available to me now? Ray Hinton on death row wrote about the availability of choices during that experience. He said despair is a choice, anger is a choice, hatred is a choice. And to be fair, these are tough things to not choose. To choose not to hate, not to despair. These are not frivolous tricks of the mind. They're gut-wrenching life decisions to make because we all have all of those feelings. And when we have them, we are not failing in life. If we feel despair or sadness or anger, we are not failing. They're not spiritual weaknesses. They're part of the human journey to be acknowledged, to be experienced, to let flow through us, to be learned from, to be noticed, and at the exact same time to also ask, starting right here, what are my options? What else? I'm thinking today of such people as Viktor Frankl, a survivor of the Holocaust, Nelson Mandela, a survivor of apartheid, and Immaculée Ilibagiza, I think that's how you say her name, the survivor of the Rwandan genocide. People like these who not only endure atrocities that most people cannot even imagine, but who came out from the valley of the shadow of death with their soul's light ablaze, bright. tough things, hard times, difficulties, tragedies. They're part of life. One of my favorite writers, and I think she only ever wrote one book, How to Pray. Helene Cherovino, she writes about these tough times in our spiritual life. She says, during tough times, remind yourself that unanswered prayers and spiritual dry spells are opportunities, not death sentences. They have the power to deepen your understanding of prayer. Such hurdles strengthen your prayer muscle, teaching you to look beyond simple yes answers and feel-good prayers into a more profound spiritual life. After dealing with the heavy issues of unanswered prayers and the spiritual desert, it becomes obvious that a relationship with God is not just about asking and receiving. It's about recognizing that God is in everything, in the joy and in the sorrow. That phrase, to look beyond the simple answers. Oh, that's how we move. That's what our topic is about today. Moving beyond our stories. Not in the sense of just get over it, although I suppose there's a time for that as well. No, not in the sense of pretending life isn't complicated, but in the sense of starting here where I am now, lifting up my vision, aiming high and not letting what has gone before dampen my spirit. Not letting my past or even my current circumstances keep me down. Got to keep moving. I learned at the Center for Spiritual Living, I learned through Science of Mind that to move beyond where I was at any given moment, I had to keep telling myself the larger truth. The truth that is larger than my story, and to tell it to myself over and over again until I become comfortable with it and accept it. The advertising industry knows the power of repetition. They know that if you and I hear something over and over and over again, we'll become comfortable with it to the point that we will stop questioning it. We'll accept it as fact and begin to know it as true. Well, we can use the power of repetition too. If you and I hear something inside of our own minds often enough, we too will become comfortable with it and we will move into a place of acceptance. So our practice can be to tell ourselves the truth as best as we can at any given moment in as sincere way as possible, as honestly as possible, while at the same time going through whatever it is that we are going through. In other words, yes, this is so. And at the same time, this is so. Oh, that is a most powerful spiritual awareness to have. One that can help us move beyond simple yes answers out. It's simply the art of accepting that there is more going on here than what meets the eye. Yes, I'm in this world. Yes, I may be in the middle of a horrible mess. Yes, our society is in the midst of an uncomfortable metamorphosis of awakening. Yes, I may not know how to solve what I'm dealing with right now. I can acknowledge that. And at the same time, I can be busy in my mind telling myself that there is that within me which is in its original state. That there is a peace within me that I did not create. that there is a life in me which is holy. And then when I meet the world from that, oh, such presence. Take, for example, our nation right now. I can see it, you can see it, the movement of the social mind, the group consciousness. People are struggling with important issues like maybe never before. People are becoming polarized and divided, and I can see it. I can stand in it. I can even struggle with the conflicts in it. I can face the harsh realities and discuss it, while at the same time, I can practice silently that conversation within me, with the universe. Everything I need to know about what lies before me is available to me through the mind of the divine within me. My mind is a center of creativity within the divine mind. I am part of an infinite flow of expansion and possibility. I am here to express love. I am not here to be subject to the consciousness of the group mind. I'm not here to settle for average. I am here to see through the density of dull thinking. I'm here to exercise my right as a creative point within the divine mind. I'm here to exercise my choice. I am here to show the way. I am here to demonstrate hope and to prove peace. And this is how I can move beyond the story of the group social mind and its easy answers while still navigating through it. I stand in what is going on and I deal with it. I don't avoid it or pretend it's not happening, but all the while, at the same time, I am refreshing the inner good news of the Spirit, because I cannot afford to put all of my trust on the outer news. No. My practice is to turn my inner attention to what is also true, if not truer than what is happening. My mind is a center of activity within the divine mind. I shall not want. I am created for the expression of love. There has never been a time when I have been separated from my source. I am connected to all things and to all people. And more importantly, I am connected to the center of the universe from which all things come. I am made with a sound mind. I am able to see through the march of history to the thread of holiness. My pattern is based upon the pattern of holiness. I have inner resources available to me. I have creativity as an option. There's never a lack of available options. My sense of self does not depend on outer circumstances. I am whole. I am in the right place. I stand in the heart of God. Oh, the self-respect that grows from remembering that. Then when your voice speaks to the issues of the world, stripped bare of resentment, intimidation, rage, then what comes through has weight and integrity, honesty, realness, and it can move mountains. I want to be good at that. I want to get good at that. Yeah, I'm remembering a colleague of mine told me that an expert is someone who specializes in a subject, which means they know more and more about less and less until they know everything about nothing at all. And I was remembering that because I thought to myself, I don't want to specialize in the group mind of what the crowd thinks. I don't want to be so good at the ways of the world that I forget what else is also true. I don't want to know more and more about what is less and less helpful. I want to become an expert in something higher. So this week, my assignment, and maybe for you too, is to choose something to specialize in. Oh, what will it be? Well, how about this? Specialize in your own loving, forgiving, true, kind-hearted self. Oh, never mind what society says about human nature. Leave that up to society. You know, its opinions are getting worse and worse. Just take a break for a while. You can, because society will be right there when you come back. And when you do come back, you will have a soul-bright light. And you will lift up society with your light. Because you've been busy remembering. You've been busy becoming an expert on your own self. Now, to be sure, group mind, society's mind, is not the enemy. No, not when you remember who you are. Because then you can see it. You can see the chaos of the group mind, everything that's in it. Everything, even the beauty of it, just the way that it is and just the way that it is not. But you don't mistakenly think that it is the all that there is. It's like going to a movie and being thrilled or frightened, engaged, excited by what is projected on the screen without ever mistaking it for the holy life of reality. Or this week, maybe you want to specialize in your uniqueness as something worthy of celebrating. After all, you are eternally the exception to everything. Oh, I remember a time when somebody told me, "You don't fit in." She didn't mean it kindly. But after the initial sting, I thought about it, and I went, she really sees me. Thank you. You see me. The accusation, there is nothing about you that fits in anywhere, it became a joyful realization, an affirmation of truth. And I moved from being hurt by it to being liberated by it. So if your story up until now has been about trying to fit in, becoming acceptable, blending, think instead of becoming an expert in your uniqueness. And if society should ask, what's so exceptional about you? You can say, why? I can name a dozen things that only I have. I have a life that has never been lived before. I am traveling a journey that no other being has ever traveled. The loss I have suffered is mine alone. The love that I've loved, only I could love that. I have a unique way of seeing things and thinking. I'm a point of creative activity within divine mind. I'm a gem. I'm remarkable. And so it is that you become an expert in your specialness and let it move you through the stories into your freedom. Oh, here's another specialty you might consider. How about becoming an expert on embracing change? Not as something that is inevitable or undesired, but something that is set in motion by you. Oh. Practice embracing it, change, as desired. And then, when you're standing in the midst of a changing world, whether you consciously caused it or not, you continue to have that silent conversation with the universe. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my obstructions. My cup runs over. Specialize in noticing and celebrating and recognizing that kind of holiness, and then you can let change do what it will. Or another possible specialization to help move you. Specialize in being the voice of optimism and hope. I've been trying to do that for myself and for other people. Oh, it's very interesting. It can have the effect of quietening down a raging storm. Try it. Try becoming an expert in it by dropping the voice of combat, by dropping the need to rearrange other people's thinking, by dropping the need to make other people fit in. After all, they are as unique as you are. And instead specialize in the voice of hope. Find what you hope for yourself and for others. Be reasonable and authentic with yourself. And then speak it. Oh, the energy of hearing someone's undefended hope, their heart speaking. Why, we just want to sit down next to those people. And then silently remember along with them something like, there is something within me that understands all things. Something that is untouched by change or the chaos of this world. Something in me that is unswayed by the energy of my environment. Something in me that is undulled by the average thought of the group mind. Something in me that can never be hypnotized by the downward pull of doomsday thinking. No, I have no affinity with that. I am here to express holiness. I am here to exercise choice and to create. I am here to show the way. I am here to bring hope and to prove peace. I am here to demonstrate love. I am here to show kindness. I'm here to connect, to care, to share. And I am the only one in all of creation who can do what is mine to do. The only one. I invite you to take a breath in with me. And to exhale, letting your eyes close for a moment of silent contemplation. And let the next breath you take be deeper than the one before, so that as you exhale, we use the movement of breath to make the transition from our silent contemplation